He extremely good at peeling for his supports as well, which is a very, very important part of the Brigida play. Been a very big upgrade for Mayhem Academy, which has always had a very strong tank line, and whose support line has only looked better as well.
We're going to get straight into it. Legion moving on forward, Mayhem. Both teams running 3-3. Panker on the Winston, though, so bit of a change in style between the two.
And you see Mayhem Academy actually looking to contest the high ground early, potentially deny it from Legion. His Panker's on the Winston, beginning the cleave damage. Mayhem Academy look like they're just going to rotate lower, though.
Mayhem Academy moving on low. Legion for now on top. And for Legion, of course, what Panker's looking for is getting an early primal, getting good harassment early. Mayhem Academy, meanwhile, just looking to power through the point using the Reinhardt. And they're going to do just that. They go on the ground, they rush down Dalton and take him down before Legion's really able to poke them down the Winston. So already down 2 immediately, and Mayhem Academy just going to very likely be getting first control here. And one thing that Legion has to be careful of that we saw yesterday is that Water needs to stay alive early in these fights.
Water does need to stay alive early, and they also need to make sure not to split too heavily there on the point, which is where they're able to rush down Dalton. Because Dalton was split, Panker is trying to play the high ground a little bit more, and Mayhem Academy recognize how far away he is from the team. He's easily able to be rushed down. And Mayhem Academy have shown in the past that they're very, very good at isolating targets.
So Mayhem Academy in good control right now, 16% already. Legion, of course, looking to build their way back in. And for now, heavy damage on the Bishu. Bishu immediately losing his mech and Mel poking that. Meanwhile, Panker does build up Primal, goes to the backline, gets F, so 5-on-5 still winnable. It's enough to make Mayhem go, okay, we're going to use Grab. They invest the bomb on the other side. In return to Transcendence, Manitin finds Bishu in all of this, so it's still very, very good for Mayhem Academy.
Even with the early pickoff with the Primal from Panker, they have the combo. They have all that available, and combo is actually just so much stronger versus Winston than it is versus Ryan because you don't have that permanent barrier. You don't have a shield there to keep you alive, to shield a lot of that damage.
Well, speaking of shields, Panker, he's had enough of it. He swaps off the Winston over the Ryan, and I do wonder if he stayed on the Winston a little bit too long.
Now it is very late. It's already going to be 60%. See the Shatter come out for Fact, dropping the early tank line, getting 3. That's pretty huge. That's a very, very early fight. And Water just uses Rally, too, so they don't have it for the next.
Fact just sees Panker walk up and hits Q. It's very good results there. Shield wasn't up. And Mayhem Academy now 70% to 0. This has been very decisive thus far.
It has been decisive. It's something to note is that Legion are just now coming up on their first combo here for the fight. And Mayhem Academy still have double support ult. Double support ult can keep you alive through that combo. It is able to be used in a mitigating factor there, and Legion have taken quite a long time to build it due to all these fight losses.
And for now, holding back, Dalton quite a bit of damage on entry. And all right, Rolf connects, gets Eps out of the fight. Legion, man advantage off of the Zen battle being won. They're going to use that to drop the grab. They use the beat right into it as well, even way before the bomb comes out. I don't think they need to use beat there, but they're also under the gun.
This fight was incredibly good for Mayhem Academy, despite Eps going down. You would say, Eps, you lose your Zenyatta first to the right click. That's never good. But they got the combo out and the beat, investing the beat their own, and that's fine because now there's no combo, there's no enemy beat. You have the Transcendence, so you can move forward, you can trade trances, and you'll be ahead in overall ult economy.
So Mayhem in a very good spot here. I'm sure they lost last fight, but plenty of time to bring it on back. Legion, of course, is hanging back in. We're going to see Mayhem Academy open up here at the rally, look for the ground floor battle, focusing here on Panker. Panker in a tough spot, getting very, very low, has to charge to stay alive, gets to the Transcendence. What's going on? Manitin with the bomb over the top, takes down 2. Panker, though, says, let me even this up a bit. Gets 2 of his own. Fact, though, on the other side, dropping the Shatter, making this a lot better here for Mayhem Academy, and Legion, just not a lot they could do.
Legion did not have the ults available. There was already a 99 working against the 99% for Mayhem Academy. The stagger coming in here for Legion right now, but they still no ults to work with versus the Trance versus what is now going to be a grab being built up, making you back on the Doomfist. Actually a little bit better for this contest than Brigida even.
I couldn't call it an emergency Doomfist, more so I just want to get back to the point, make sure this happens. Doomfist. Mayhem Academy, though, getting all the cleanup they could want right now. Legion staggering in, hoping for the miracle. Not going to be happening here in all likelihood. And so far, pretty strong start here for Mayhem Academy.
Very strong. Mayhem Academy controlling the point so effectively. They're getting off that initial pick from Dalton on the first. Their ult economy was great. And then when they finally lose the point, Legion overinvest ults for their flip fight. And then it's just a free fight for Mayhem Academy from there.
I think the biggest thing, you look at how that started out for Legion, is that I feel like anytime you run an early Winston setup and the other team is able to run Rhine on a map, you're really very much hoping that you win the first fight and then Winston can do the classic Winston thing, right? Which is that you get into a spot, drop down, get good damage, drop back out. When you lose the first fight, it's a lot harder to make the Winston work, and it just felt like it ended up putting Legion in more of a hole.
If you are going to recontest for the Winston after the loss of first, you have to recognize that you're going to be at a disadvantage on the frontline work because your Winston cannot stand up to the Ryan. It's a lot more poke presence. It's a lot more setting up and moving cooldowns. See, Legion are actually playing triple DPS for this next bid. Man Academy, they're rolling out the 3-3, but they're going to make these swaps now. Get the Moira, maybe get the Hog for Megachu. They're going to go quad tank.
Yeah, they're deciding to swap over here to a quad tank setup, running... Wait, is it?
No, they swap Shax on the Sombra.
Wait a second, it's not full quad tank.
They swap Shax, but they're still keeping the Hog.
Yeah, they're running 3-2-1, so a variant on the Sombra Goat style setup, if you will. But you take a look at it here, of course, Mangachu is looking to get an anti-air hook if possible. A little bit harder than you might expect. And Legion, for now, just hanging back, and Mangachu able to connect, finds Bishu early on in the fight, now man advantage Mayhem Academy, and they're tanky enough here that's going to be very tough for Legion to bring it back. However, as I said, that Water and Dalton striking, but look at Mangachu, just nothing really dealing with him as he rotates around the point. I
mean, Mangachu got the anti-air hook in the end. He got two of the most important frags in that fight anyways. He got the Sombra, he got the Pharah. Huge hooks for Mangachu. Very, very tough to have this much effectiveness against a comp like this as Hog as well.
Also importantly as well, Bishu pretty low on ult charge right now for as long of a fight that was. Ends up getting counter-hacked by Shax here. And Mayhem Academy, they can roam around here for a while as this bank team. And oh, Luda is down! Mangachu able to pull him out of the sky. Very good hooks coming in from Mangachu right now.
Mangachu, the anti-air Hog has been quite effective. And we haven't seen Mangachu play a lot of Roadhog very recently, but back in the day, he played a lot of Roadhog, and he was pretty good at it.
I think back in the day, almost everyone had to have a pocket Hog. There were a few metas where if you weren't running Hog, you weren't winning games. And if that was Hook 1.0, that character would be gone.
Was Hook 1.0, he would have been hooked through time and space to Mangachu and been finished off there, so very lucky for the Legion there. Legion now having to re-enter. Okay. Look at the time bank already, 50% EMP versus EMP.
So Mangachu is actually camping the elevator so he can jump up and surprise for the anti-air hook. This is actually hilarious if he's able to pull it off. Plus, it's supposed to be playing a little bit of pressure. Mangachu, meanwhile, split off to the other side. And Waterlude already down, the heavy pressure, and Roof just gets flanked.
I really like how Mangachu is playing this Hog. Recognizing when the triple DPS is out on the field, they're actually not looking to punish him, which I think Legion should be doing more so, especially when they have anti available. Legion is trying to win the fight on point, set up their Pharah, but Mangachu just rotating around the flanks, rotating around the back line, looking for Wolf, looking for this translocator for Bishu as well.
And Legion, I mean, they're in a tough spot. They have to win this next fight or it's already over. Mayhem Academy's had control the entire time. They're going to use the EMP to open things up. And Mangachu just all Hogs. Heads back into the fight, gets Panker out immediately, and Legion just get completely decimated by this tank setup of Mayhem Academy, and the DPS of Legion just never really got anything going. Even retaking the point here, Mayhem's going to quickly retake on their own.
Bishu's EMP caught one. It caught Epps, and Paintbrush was out of the LOS. He's managed to beat everyone, and you see how aggressive Mayhem were being. They know they have the better health overall. They know they have ults to peel for themselves, and they just fought extremely heavily at the choke to mitigate how much value Water's been going to have.
Hustle this dagger coming in here from the Legion, but super unlikely to amount to anything. And what more can you say here from Mayhem Academy? Very strong on both rounds, a dominant performance, and a surprisingly good Hog pocket pick coming out here from Mangachu.
Definitely something where Legion should have been punishing Mangachu a lot more heavily while he was playing the flank Hog, while he was rotating around. Being the backline paratrooper, 600-pound man. Really the behind-the-line setup there for Hog. A lot of great value, but should have been punished much more heavily. You have a Sombra, you have an Ana to anti him, to hit sleeps as well. He's such a huge hitbox, and he just wasn't punished.
I don't think we had the absolute best view of it, but I'm pretty sure there was one point there where his secret stealth technique actually worked, where they just flew a little bit too near the elevator, and then you look and it's like, pigs do fly.
Mangachu did find a lot of success on the Hog, and triple DPS for Legion not finding their success. And you know that they like to run it a lot because, I mean, Panker is a very, very good Hammond player. Bishu's been actually pretty effective on the Sombra. Water, obviously known for his projectiles. And they just could not get the value they needed versus that setup. Because Mayhem Academy played split, allowed Mangachu to find value early, and we're getting the much better Sombra setups.
I mean, the other problem is, too, when you're running a DPS heavy setup, is that you can't really force point the way that a 3-3 setup can do, right? Where the power of 3-3 is that we've now put everyone to point. You have to invest someone onto the point to deal with it, but you're running 3-3 or you're running a 3 DPS setup, people want to be mobile. They can't be on the point at all times. So Mayhem Academy just being split, it was very difficult for everyone to get hunted down there once they got first control. So, I mean, overall, you just see the difference in playstyle here between the two teams. Mayhem Academy, again, they've been very solid, and you have to bring something more to the table.
You will. If you're going to be flexible, you have to know how to execute the comp well. The triple DPS, if they were going to stick with it, needed to punish Shaxx and Mangachu a lot more heavily than they were. And because they weren't punishing them, their setup, their counter setup was working a lot better. And that is just Mayhem Academy being the force on control like we talked. They love to make swaps. They love to just put Mangachu on whatever hero pops up on the, they hit the random number generator. He's like, Mangachu, you're on this one today. And he's like, okay, I can't wait to be on it.
He's just really pub-stomping mystery heroes in preparation for any game he's about to play is our best pet theory.
That is going to be the first map going the way, Mayhem Academy. Kings Row going to be the second. I imagine we'll see a lot more standard 3-3, more than likely on this map.
I would definitely expect it. I mean, also it's Kings Row, where even as the meta shifts over time, like let's say we enter a world to where we see less of 3-3, I'd still imagine teams are going to be running as tanky of a setup as they can on Kings Row, regardless it's a future, because that's how it's always been. Even in metas that are more favored towards dive, teams prefer setups like Kings Row. And just because how closed in it all is, it's hard to deal with it. You don't have the mobility or room that you do on other maps.
Get in here very, very soon. Legion obviously looking to equalize it from here. And this is where Panker, who looked in form yesterday during the quarters, his impact will be huge for Kings Row. Is a main tank player that's always done a lot for the Legion. Obviously, he's going to be looking to make a lot of great plays for them.
We're getting into it. It's going to be Mayhem here in the defense first. Legion to the attack. And bear in mind, this is Legion's map pick. It is in playoffs. It's not preset. Losing team does get a choice. So Legion, they want to take this 3-3 fight.
They do, and Mayhem, obviously, the winner picks sides. So they're on defense first. You see the bash goes out. No bubble just yet, but it will be up very, very soon for fact. There you see it on them.
It's a lot of shield pressure going on the Panker early on. It's going to be forcing Legion back to a degree. Mayhem Academy more than willing to just hang back on the point. Back over by Hotel, and right now it's just the poke war between both teams, looking for a key advantage and then pushing it from there. Mayhem Academy holding back. Both teams bubble up. And now, Fact moving forward, and Panker gets caught. It's too much focus fire onto him. He's down immediately. Fact able to back on out. No, Fact doesn't get away. That's a good trade for the Legion. They use it to get Eps right after. Now the man advantage. The Legion can wait for Panker to get back in, and they should be able to power through Mayhem Academy and at least get 1 to 2 ticks for free.
They will, but Mayhem Academy should know to leave. They don't need to be committed to this fight. They could just get out, but they were in so deep. Mangachu, he was still in Hotel. He's caught. They could have given up 2 ticks here, had Mangachu alive, come back into the rally of their own, but they stayed in so long. I don't know why Paintbrush and Mangachu were staying in unless they were hoping to set up a play.
That was really weird because the point wasn't necessarily, as you say, the point wasn't necessarily lost there. They could have waited a little bit longer, let that develop, and then come in at the last moment, but instead, they end up giving an extra pick off to the Legion. Legion get point A pretty quickly for Kings Row.
They look very split on that. You see the next engage going to happen. There's the rally for Mangachu. He does get the spawn. Is going to be there in time. Legion actually going to look to back up, but Dalton says no and drops the grab.
That was really awkward timing for the Legion, where Panker didn't, I don't think they realized Panker shows, oh, he backed out, but now Mayhem Academy, they move in. The grab doesn't do much to them at all, and they're just able to easily re-engage in the Legion, where the Legion, something went awry in their shot call.
Something went wrong with the comms because Dalton, he saw the grab, but the call was to back up. As the charge, he goes out. Panker gets everyone with the shatter from Spawn. The bomb there to get it, to just clean up from Bishu. That is the definition of, as they say in the business, maybe unlucky, but also huge heads-up play from Panker.
It was a big heads-up play from Panker, but also just a terrible overextension from Mayhem Academy where, look, I know sometimes you want to, put a picture of Brad over your mantle and be like, yes, do the selfless, go to spawn. That wasn't really the time to go to spawn.
I don't think it was an overextension. They were looking to chase Bishu. That play probably would have been fine if Fact wasn't charging at the same time. They weren't expecting Panker to be there, to have the shadow to drop as that was going on. So definitely not a heads-up play for Mayhem Academy, but it wasn't objectively wrong until that latter happened.
The upside for Mayhem Academy, though, is that they can bring this right back. In particular, grab bomb combo set up. Shaxx lands a meaty grab right in the middle of Broad Street here. Self-destruct right to the back. Takes down Panker, and Manton, he was doing damage right after. That was a baby blaster that was just taking down water there.
You see right now, they're just trying to keep Fact alive. The peel going to be there for Mayhem Academy. Good setup. Did get the trance out of Wolf as well. And that's the trade for the combo. Mayhem Academy going to hold aggressive on this choke. I imagine we'll trade rallies because both teams will obviously have the rally. There is no combo up just yet for Legion, so they can feel confident in investing Epps' trance here as well.
So Mayhem Academy a good spot. They're just gonna casually back out here. They're down combo, they're up everything else, and they've been able to reestablish, but Legion still have been pretty swift. 3 minutes left here to get through point B.
See Legion approaching here. Probably waiting for their combo. They are so close. I would much prefer for the team, but they're not going to wait. They're just going to use it to remove the trance.
Graviton in here, and off the Graviton. Paintbrush still ends up falling. Fact, though, to bring it back the other way. Equalizes, gets rid of water. 5-on-5. Shatter being invested here by Fact. Knocks out 3. Panker, though, off the flank. Knocks out 2 on his Shatter. Still winnable here for the Legion. In fact, you're going to see Panker taking on a ride. Roof there, the cleanup, and Panker does more.
Panker Shatter definitely does a little bit more there. But what was interesting was the fact that Paintbrush dies with beat. Paintbrush dies through the trance. He got isolated. I mean, they had Bijou sitting on his head, just cleaned him up there in the grav. There still is a recontest available for Mayhem Academy. They have the beat still. They're coming up on the grav, on the bomb. Megachu actually going Batiste here for the combo. The immortality field going to be so crucial here to keep them alive on the entry.
Mayhem Academy not wasting time, opening up with the barrier, trying to move in towards Legion. Legion gonna respond in turn. Transcendence out, looking to melt down the tank front line. Manson drives himself to strike, looking for him, but Panker just so deep, already taking down 2. Legion getting a lot more off Rolf's Transcendence engage.
I like the play of going to Batiste just for the entry, just to have the immortality fill up, but Panker is he's playing out of his mind right now. Very, very smart engage where he knows he can hold forward extremely aggressively since Mayhem Academy have to go to point regardless. They can't spend a lot of energy on him. He was close to Shatter. He had the advantage and drops it, gets the backline for Mayhem Academy, and ensures the fight win.
So Megachu gonna be swapping back over the Brigida. Mayhem Academy a bit drained. The 12 Transcendence grab up here for our next fight. In fact, no Transcendence up on the other side. If Shaxi land a good grab, immediately opens with it. There's not gonna be a lot to save the Legion here with good fall through, but Mayhem Academy, they're not all there to follow up on the grab. But now the Shatter, Fact lays a big one right down the middle. Megachu there for the fall through, but Fact ends up giving his life. Eats a lot of damage, even with members of Legion down.
Look at this pressure on a Panker though. The Discord is still on him. He will die. We return frag. You see the boot pound for Lutte actually getting Megachu off the map. But this fire, the damage, they need to keep their Zarya alive. They don't, or they do. It's Paintbrush that goes down. Legion will be able to recontest here.
Legion able to get back on and still keep the payload moving forward all the way. Paintbrush down. So if you're Mayhem, I think you wait a little bit for Paintbrush to get back to the fight, especially given that he's about to have beat.
Gonna need the beat too because the double support ult up for Legion. Panker, another Shatter. Need to make sure to watch the support ult usage here because Dalton is building up to his grab again, so they don't want to use it too preemptively.
Self-destruct gonna be sent right to the back by Manitin, but it's not in a great spot. Legion just shrugging on off. They dive on in. Transcendence up here. They're gonna use the grab, looking to finish it off, but Epps, their Transcendence of his own. Mayhem Academy actually still in a good spot. A lot of ults have been used. Mayhem Academy still standing, moving forward. In fact, about to build up Shatter midway through the fight. Panker not quite there himself. You're gonna see Fact holding on back, watered down. Man advantage here in the Mayhem Academy. And if they can save ults, now would be the time.
Mayhem Academy definitely going to look to save ults here. Bijou going off the map, realizing he's not going to be able to get out. The Academy support ult usage has been much better this season, by the way. We talked about how they improved. But Epps' trance there post-fight, saving it for the grab, knowing Dalton was going to have grab, and getting in a very good moment, keeping everyone up. Very important there.
Megachu eating quite a bit of damage early on, able to back on out. Legion, though, using that early poke to move in. They use the rally, and they're going to be taking the fight. Now the Mayhem Academy, who decide, you know what, we're going to give you a little bit of space. We're going to back out. We don't want to just... And Epps finds Rolf through the shield on the other side. Easy man advantage now to Mayhem Academy, and Legion, they just want to back out. Oh, no, they had other plans. Panker drops a Shatter. Legion all the way back in. Dalton there, the cleanup. Back drops a Shatter and doesn't really get anything from it. So now Mayhem Academy in a very tough spot as the Legion rebound with style.
This fight is, I mean, this is potentially over. Bijou dropping the grab here, or the bomb to zone. Fact, he's going to get charged. He's going to get cleaned up there. There are no support ults really up right now. Paintbrush is coming back soon with the beat. But can the bomb here for Manitin get anything? It can't. It was on the other side of the cart.
It was desperation bomb at best, but there's still 5 back up from Mayhem Academy. Megachu able to isolate water here. It's not over just yet. Enough damage has been to the Legion. Even as Panker lays down another Shatter. The Mayhem Academy, they are sustaining on here. Fact's back in the fight. And the Legion, they're losing players one by one. Respawn's coming in a lot quicker for Mayhem Academy. And even as good as this was looking for the Legion, Mayhem Academy have a very good chance of turning this back.
No, Water's back with the rally. Megachu gonna pop his. In return, Dalton continually building up to his grab. He was so low, wasn't able to be cleaned up. The peel was there for Lutte. The bomb out again for Bijou.
He's looking for something here. Anything, not gonna get it. Mayhem still dealing. By the way, Shaxx, emergency Bastion out onto the field. 3 of his team members down, 4 down. The Bastion not doing anything. Legion end up finishing it out on the point.
Dalton surviving for as long as he did, along with Panker getting yet another crucial shatter, was so key there for the fight. He was very low. Mangachu didn't want to push him because of how high energy it was. He didn't want to overextend. Bloody was able to peel for him in return. And because of Dalton staying alive, if there's one thing that we have never had a criticism for Dalton for, despite he may waste grabs at times, he may have like unquestionable grabs, but he's in the school of Zarya's that builds grabs very quickly.
Well, not only was he building gravitons really quickly, but Dalton also wasn't dying. He was very good at recognizing, hey, a fight's about to be over, time to back out. So he was maintaining higher energy levels over a Zarya that perhaps is going more the Defran style, right? Where you think about when you watch someone like Defran play, they would generally stand to the very end just doing damage and then dying. Both are equally valid ways to build grabs, but Dalton is playing the more conservative style to be sure.
Now Mayhem Academy going to be on their offense there. What should have been really a last hold considering their ult bank. Panker does it again. We talked about again how Panker has been getting crucial shatters. It was that chase. As they chase for those frags off that early frag from Epps, getting onto Rolf, Panker just shatters everyone. Keeps Epps on the ground where there's no trance to keep his team alive. And not only did Epps not only was he on the ground to not trance in time, he popped it too late when the fight was already over. So that play could potentially come back to bite Mayhem Academy, that overextension.
Well, it wasn't even the only time in the entire match. You think back to when Mayhem Academy went too deep here on point A. Who was there with the response? It was Panker.
And they really need to recognize that Panker is probably going to have these shatters. This is really just an issue of the Rhine games there, and making sure that your team will not be on the ground from the shatter.
I think part of it is Mayhem Academy isn't even expecting Legion to go for it there. There's Kevin Ebenflow there's like, okay, they're down, people are not going to invest ults. Panker doesn't really care. If he sees a good shatter, he's going to go for it.
See Mayhem Academy enter here. Use some bubbles early for the energy. Management just playing this off angle.
And it's a nice displacement for the back. Might be giving his life for it. No, still able to get out. And now look at the pressure. Panker nowhere to go, was displaced. Didn't have the ability to get out. And now a very heavy advantage for Mayhem Academy. 6-on-5, particularly in the front line. And this is going to be a super quick take at point A.
I love when divas play these off angles in general, but especially in the neutral fights. Manaton's heads-up play there, flanking from the hotel, getting some of the backline presence, also moving the front line forward into the rest of Mayhem Academy, into the offense. Very, very heads-up for Manaton there. His consistent play has been very, very important.
So it's going to be a quick take here from Mayhem Academy. About all the time you could ever want heading into point B. And more importantly, look at Legion. Legion didn't exactly get a whole lot of ult charge off that point A fight either.
They didn't. Their most important ult will be, I mean, they'll have the rally to trade with Mangachu. They're equal on the grabs. So it'll be a very equal fight, I think, overall, because they'll have time to build up the rest of their bank. What's very important here is Mayhem Academy can set up this early shatter for fact.
Mayhem Academy, they do have a window. Wolf, though, getting real close to closing that window. Transcend should be up before Shaxx is able to land the grab. Mayhem Academy just biding their time right now. Legion being very, very aggro on the hold. More importantly, Panker nowhere close to the shatter, so they can't look to that to bail them out. And look at the shield presence here from Mayhem Academy.
I'd like the shield presence play here. They know that Panker does not have the shatter just yet. Pressure him, continue to pressure him back. Not only will it force Legion to give up the ground as they build up that shatter, but also they are just moving them from the fight.
They decide now it's time to respond. They go for the grab. The self-destruct a lot later than the grab here. Not going to amount to much for the Legion. Said Mayhem Academy on the other side. They isolate water early. They're working at the 6-on-5, backed under pressure. Still has a shatter in reserve. Legion throwing everything they have and more, but fact! Gonna drop the hammer towards the very end. That's certainly gonna be enough here for Mayhem Academy as they take the fight. And now Legion gonna be really struggling to even recontest here on point B.
Legion gave up a lot of ground on second because of that shield presence that we were talking about earlier onto Panker. They were waiting for the ults to come up, and then they finally have the trade. The trade doesn't go their way. The pin comes out for fact of the water, and he has a better shatter.
This is really risky for Legion, where if they try and sacrifice bodies on the point to delay and then get destroyed, defending point C is going to be very difficult for them, but they're going to go for it.
They're going to go for it, and the most important thing to look at here is Shaxx's grab, Mangachu's rally. They're going to initiate. Mayhem are definitely going to use these ults to continue to fight.
Manton getting pretty low early into fight. If they can heal him back up, Manton can reengage. And already water's down! Water and Panker both out of fight super quickly. Mangachu just going in, using the rally to speed around to vulnerable targets. And Mayhem Academy, this is a very quick time.
Very, very fast time here. We'll have grab coming up on another combo for this fight. And if Mayhem Academy are keeping tracks of ults here, really they don't have to invest too much if they don't feel like it, because they can get ults out of Legion, come back into the next fight, and have a huge ult bank.
No, I mean, just channel your inner Raiden here. Let them win. It's fine. They can win right now. It's part of a grander plan, because time-wise, if they finish with 1 minute and 1 second left or anything above, Legion doesn't even get an extra attack. It's fine to let this fight go. But Mayhem Academy, they're going to fight. They're going to use the Graviton, Transcendence in response. Even the barrier, they are taking the fight here to Legion, and they are forcing them back to a degree. Now Legion drinking everything because of Shatter. Water caught out again. Panker, a mammoth Shatter. But everyone's so far back that they're not in a position to take advantage of it.
The Shatters were traded. They couldn't follow up because Fact to drop a Shatter of his own. You see the shield presence once again. So much damage. A high charge Shax. They're going to continue to fight. Mangachu has another rally. There's so much presence on the Panker right now.
Mayhem Academy, their decision not to just let that fight go. The fight overall is working out. Water on the emergency Bastion now towards the back. And actually, Fact throwing a little bit back. The emergency Bastion in a really good spot for the... Oh, they did stand the cart!
That is a Z9er.
Oh.
That's a Z9er. Now, partially propelled by the fact that Fact was charging aggressively to try to get onto Water. He had to zoom about a bit. He got booped. Was zooming, was finding an alternate pathing there. But definitely a little bit of a Z9er.
Ooh, that is unfortunate for the Legion. And now, of course, the very best they could do in the map is a draw. Now, don't forget, draws are a lot more beneficial here in a playoff situation. It is 1st to 3. A draw just makes the entire map go away. The problem is, Mayhem Academy has 3 minutes and 47 seconds to get 33% on point A. If Legion are able to bring this back, it would be one of the very best holds we've seen in Contenders playoff history.
It would be an incredible hold with this much of time on King's First. King's First, it's not impossible to hold for long time periods, but because of the high ground differentials and the many points you have to push, it's very tough to hold it for a longer period of time, as opposed to, you know, assault maps like Paris and things like that, where it's a lot harder to get to the point effectively to take alternate angles.
And really, I mean, when you do hold on King's Row first, you still have to give up about a good 66%, because at some point you lose a fight and then you come back in for a recontest. Legion can't even give up that much for their defense here.
So now you see Mayhem Academy getting a little scout. Shax on the Widow. It looks actually not going to be a scout. Mayhem Academy going to be committing to the triple DPS, and I like the play here. Triple DPS pretty strong for King's Row first, especially with Pharaoh as good as Mangachu. And all you have to do is build up EMP. Your goal is just to build up EMP, play the pick game.
Legion looking to be perfect. Mangachu just swatted out of the sky there. Bishu getting in on him with Rule. But doing that consistently can be easier said than done. Also, you know, they're not able to deny the res. He dives far enough back that he's still back in. Look at Shax right now.
He's in the backline pressuring, moving the backline forward here for the rest of Legion. They need to come forward.
I would love to have seen how he got back here in the first place. It's not exactly easy for Will to get back here, but he's drawing people back. Meanwhile, the rest of Mayhem Academy coming from the front. Ludi gets caught. Shax actually had the sightline on him, and this is really bad for the Legion. They have to go back in. They've already given up almost half of the first point tick, and that's all there is for Mayhem Academy to get.
Mangachu has Barrage.
It's over. They've done way too much damage. The Transcendence here from Rule. Just going to buy a little bit of time, but unfortunately, they need a lot more than that. The strategy of Mayhem Academy to divide and conquer, working out very well, and now they are 1 map away from a Grand Finals berth.
Smart flank from Shax there. Very, very smart flank. Just moving to the backline, pressuring the backline. Because when the backline isn't secure versus triple DPS, when they're not having someone pressuring them, especially when the are devoted to keep Arya alive and tanked, it splits. You're so thin at that point. Very tough to find.
Overall, I don't say, okay, they saw them play. The problem is a lot better